This assignment is 8.1. It's talking about line segments, specifically rays, line segments, and lines. And in number 1, we're asked to identify what this is. Right here, this first one, we have a line because it has an arrow on both sides. Anytime there's an arrow on both sides, it's a full line. Now, how would I write that? I would simply put an arrow on both sides on top. Now, it doesn't matter which letter comes first because they both have an arrow on top. So I can just put an EF there. Now here, the second one, we're dealing with a ray. Okay. Now a ray, typically when you draw the arrow, you always draw the arrow to the right. Now this does matter. Where do I see the arrow? The arrow is at the A side. So just like that, I have to put the A by the arrow. So this would be ray BA. It starts at the B, that's where the arrow, the ray starts, and then A is right next to the arrow, so A has to be right next to the arrow. And down here, CD, that's just a piece of a line. It stops at both of those sections right there. And so I wouldn't have any arrow. Let's put it in the right one. I wouldn't have any arrow on it, just a little piece of a line. And again, just like the top one, it doesn't matter what order it goes in because it can go either way. It's the same line segment.
Number 2. Right here we have two different, a line and a plane. And here's another line. The thing we need to remember is that any 2 points will make a line, no matter if they're drawn or not. So 2 points are collinear. Collinear just means they're the same line. 3 points, no matter if it's drawn or not, are always going to be coplanar, which means they're on the same plane. Okay, so let's go through and see what we can find out from these. Another name for plane P is plane RTX. Well, plane P is this part right here, is RTX on that plane. RTX. They're all on that plane right there. So those 3 points are talking about the exact same plane as P. So that would be correct. The line SY and XY intersect. Well, I can tell you right now that is true because they both have point Y in it. Okay? Anytime 2 lines or line segments have the same point, then guaranteed they will intersect. Now SY isn't a line right here. But remember, 2 points are collinear, which means SY is a line, it's just not drawn. And XY is drawn, and it's 2 points, so it's a line. So yes, those 2 lines would intersect. So even if they're not drawn, 2 points are collinear. 3 points are coplanar. Okay, points QT and the line XY are coplanar. XY goes up and down, and QT go kind of not perpendicular, but they definitely intersect right here, so they're not the same plane. Points Q and X are collinear. Okay, Q and X, but wait, they're not drawn. There's no line here. It doesn't matter. 2 points are always collinear. So Q and X are collinear. Okay, R, S, T, and Y are coplanar. R, S, T, and Y. See, R, Y, T are coplanar, but S is out here to the side. If you have more than 3 points, they all have to be on the same plane, and in this case, they're not. And so that is how you do number 2. Remember, just because it's not drawn doesn't mean it's not true. 2 points are always collinear. 3 points are always coplanar. When you get more than 3 points, then you got to pay attention to where the plane is. But those two statements are always true.
Which pairs of figures below are congruent? Now, congruent just means they are exactly the same. Same shape, same size. Same shape, same size. Now they can be turned and everything, but they're exactly the same. In this one we have a triangle and a triangle, both right triangles. 1, 2, 3, 4 on that side. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The sides are all the same, so they are congruent. This one, I can clearly see the circle is smaller over here than it is over here, so they are not congruent. That would be similar, not congruent. Congruent is same shape, same size. These aren't even the same shape. And right here, both of these shapes are exactly the same. So they are congruent. Congruent, same shape, same size. Now let's go through some definitions. Belonging to the same plane is coplanar. Okay, let me go through these really quick. An angle are where two lines come together. A circle, I think we all know what a circle is. Collinear means all the points are on the same line. Coplanar means all the points are on the same plane. Congruent means the two shapes are exactly the same size, same shape. Line segment, it's a piece of a line, but it ends in both directions. It does not go on forever. Parallel lines are two lines with the exact same slope, but they will never intersect. Perpendicular lines mean they intersect at a 90-degree angle. Okay, so this first one, belong to the same plane, would be coplanar. The set of all points in a plane that lie the same distance from a single point on the plane. Okay, all the points in a plane that lie in the same distance from a single point. That single point is the center. Well, what is the same distance from the center every point? That would be a circle. Okay, belonging to the same line, collinear. And part of a line consisting of two endpoints. Remember, two endpoints means it ends, so it's a line segment. In the figure below, xy is 18. So from here to here, it's 18. And xz is 34. So how much is this? Well, take what we know. The whole thing is 34. And we also know that this part is 18. So if we take 34 minus 18, it will give us what's left. And 34 minus 18 is 16. So that tells me the length here, 18 plus 16 equals 34. So that tells me that the length of that line is 16. And all this means, one thing to look at is when it says xy equals 18, it means the distance from x to y is 18. Number 6, suppose that wx are points on a number line. Okay, so here's our number line, here's w, here's x. We'll do w here because I already started writing it, x. Okay, if wx is 6 units long, so from here to here, it's 6 units. Don't be afraid to draw pictures. W lies at negative 16. If there's more than one location, or where is x located? If there's more than one location, separate with commas. Now here's the thing that they're saying. Could this possibly go this way too? Could x be over here? Absolutely it could. We just know that the distance is 6. That's all we know. So negative 16 plus 6 is negative 10. But if it's also negative, then it could be negative 22. We don't know. All we know is that the length is 6 units long and that W is right at negative 16. So it goes either direction because all it is 6 units long. So it can be either negative 22 or 10. So I'm going to put negative 22, comma, 10, negative 10, sorry. Just like that. So just because it says it's 6 units long doesn't always mean it's positive 6 units. It could be 6 units negative. Now we have another distance here for this line segment. C is between A and D, right here. B is the midpoint of A and C, so that means this is the middle. That means this side and this side are exactly the same length. If BC is 2, well, that tells me that AB is also 2 because they're the same length. And BD from here to here is 8. Find AD. Okay, well, from here to here is 2. Right? And from B to D is 8. What's 2 plus 8? That would be 10. Just draw it out and see what you can figure out. Okay, we know these two are the same length in this case, so that this is 2 and this is 2. So from A to B is 2, and we know from B to D is 8. So 2 plus 8 is 10. Hopefully this helps you get through this assignment. I hope it's not a very difficult assignment to begin with. Let me know if you have any questions.